Hello, I'm Electra Frost from Digital Playhouse in Queensland, Australia. And I'm here today with Umar and Ludo from Request.Finance. And we are going to talk about crypto invoicing and accounting, which is a bit new and it's happening a bit more. And they're going to teach us about it and a tool that they have to help us as accountants and as business owners to make it a bit easier. So yes, we want to know really how it can be how this can be systemized. You know, when a business invoices another business with crypto, how can we systemize and get that into our accounting systems? Because when our clients and when we start using crypto in businesses, ideally it will be accounted for correctly from day one. And it rarely happens that way. You know, we want to change this. And if you're an accountant, after this session, you can let your clients know that chances are that some of them will be going ahead, getting crypto and NFTs and using it, wanting to use it in their business. And yeah, so, you know, you can let them know that you can add value to their business by showing them how they can keep their records right and save you a lot of manual extra work after financial year end. Get it right, get the systems in place now, and so let's go. So would you like to share your screen with us, Umar and Ludo, and we'll introduce you? Or
yeah, sure.
Please tell us a bit about what you do at Request and why you love it. So
Sure. Ludo, do you want to go first?
Yes, sure, I can. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here with you today. I'm Ludo from Request. So I'm supporting sales and marketing for Request for the past year. I'm based in Singapore, and what I love about this is we are really bringing value and businesses are using the tool, crypto businesses, which is amazing, actually, to be in that space. Umar?
And Umar,
yeah, sure. I'll go next.
But Umar, everyone, you might have seen me linking in our group the Accountant Quits podcast, which is really fantastic. And that's how I came across Umar and Request.Finance.
Thanks, Electra. So briefly about myself, I used to work in accounting and auditing before. I've worked for most of my life at the likes of Deloitte and BDO. But then in 2020, I decided let's say I wanted to look at the other side of things, at how technology will impact accounting. And I came across blockchain. And once I came across blockchain, I just fell in the rabbit hole and I never got out of it. I started this podcast called The Accountant Quits to educate accountants on the impact of blockchain in accounting, and educating accountants about the future of work. So how to navigate through Web3 accounting, what the new opportunities there to build a career on. Besides that, at Request, I've joined Request this year as a community manager. Briefly, Request Network, it's this open source protocol for you to build any type of decentralized payment apps, interoperable payment apps, we say. Request.Finance, the demo, what we'll go through today, is the first app that's been built using this technology. And we'll give you a little bit more details about how it can be used today for your invoicing and payments.
Thank you. Fantastic. So would you like to make the fill the screen with your?
Yeah, sure.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's us. Yes, the disclaimer we must have. We have a Discord channel. I'll put a link in the notes after this session, where we can discuss some scenarios. But we are not, this is just general advice. There's nothing particular here that anyone should act on necessarily without their own research and advice. What's polling about? You've got some questions for us, Umar. Okay. Oh, I wonder if there's maybe just mention in the chats. Who here's
Yeah, okay, sure.
who-
So like everyone has seen it, you can vote 1, 2, 3 in the chat, AB or ABC for these different options.
yeah, we just want to know, you know, some accountants do use crypto, some are learning by doing. So we might have a few advanced users in here and a few intermediates. Yeah, and a few beginners. Lisa, I know you're an intermediate. It can be hard to self-judge. You don't know what the benchmark is. But I'd say the accountants here and the business owners here would be into crypto, and I'd say the accountants here have been dealing with it for tax for quite a few years, but are here today for you to show them the bigger picture.
Yeah, perfect. So I can see mostly like intermediates with a few beginners, so that's good. People have a basic understanding of blockchain. And the other question that I had is anyone already using crypto to make payments, any transfers, but for business purposes, like not for yourself?
Okay. All right. Okay. So
I see a lot of no's, so that's a good thing.
yeah. So
Starting to, that's good.
wanting to, yeah.
All right, perfect. So I think we can start. The agenda for today will be, obviously, I didn't know the level of knowledge of our audience today, so I might go through a little bit of basic and then maybe a bit more, not advanced, there's nothing advanced today, but we'll dive a little bit more into the accounting stuff and how like the issues enterprises face today with the crypto payments, and how at the end we'll go how Request.Finance is able to solve those issues today. So starting with advantages of crypto payments, if you're familiar with the crypto and blockchain, you know all of this. So yeah, cheap cross-border payments, instant payments, and it's 24/7. You can, unlike a bank, you can be transferring your funds on a weekend, and the person on the other end will receive it in a few seconds. So you don't have to wait for the bank to open. There's a high level of privacy because in the case of blockchain, as you know or you don't know, we blockchain disintermediates the institution. So there's no intermediary between the institution. Instead, it uses mass collaboration across a network to reach consensus on the transactions of the network. So for example, every time there's a Bitcoin transfer, there's not one single party that is storing and managing those transactions, but instead it's being approved, let's say, by the mass network, as we so call them, the miners. Yeah, those are a bit the quick benefits of crypto payments.
And are these the benefits to, sorry, just back to the benefits for businesses? So, I mean, these would be clearly benefits for businesses who are operating in a global environment. But according to the International Accounting Standards Board recently in February, they did a review for SMEs and whether there should be cryptocurrency standards, accounting standards updated. They basically said SME adoption of crypto is not prevalent enough to warrant that. We can just wait for the usual accounting standards. So what kind of businesses are benefiting most or are reaching for those benefits now? Is it mainly those in the Web3 sort of startup space who are getting seed capital in crypto, or is it other businesses?
I would say most of the businesses are Web3 companies, because these companies already are like deep into this space. These are deep Web3 people who know, who are transacting, paying their employees, for example, in cryptocurrencies. So at the moment, these companies see the benefits very clearly, and Web3 people are, they would support like anything which is Web3 related. So they want to go bankless. So to further this movement, they are the ones using most of like solutions like that. But we do have companies at Request, for example, like just traditional Web2 companies. We have accounting firms who use Request for their clients. But I would say most of them are Web3 companies at the moment.
Yeah, interesting. So it's others are noticing the benefits. Interesting you mentioned accounting companies, because if they're dealing with crypto clients, they want to pay in crypto, right? So we
Correct.
start accepting it. Thank you.
And I think the traditional companies, one of the barriers is revolves around regulation, accounting, the compliance side of stuff, right? So once people are not clear on those, people don't want to dabble into cryptocurrencies. I spoke to accounting firms which do crypto accounting, and basically what they told me, I spoke to one accounting firm. Like a year ago, he had one client doing crypto. Today he has 100. He told me the accounting rules are still not clear, but that's not a reason why they want to not use crypto. So in accounting, we have, I'll go through this later, but
Okay.
like as long as we're communicating the information effectively and disclosing that information, why not use crypto?
And
but
we
I'll go through
have a
those later.
framework we can follow, and you're making it easier. So go on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then the other thing with using cryptocurrencies that I wanted to add is that it opens up access to DeFi. Once your money is, like we say, on ramp, it's way easier to invest your money. And if you're all familiar with what DeFi is, so DeFi is this movement around decentralized finance. So there's all sorts of like DeFi is a large spectrum of like different products around lending in a decentralized way, borrowing. We have stable coins we touch there. There's like a whole array of products around insurance, around derivatives. So once your money is sitting like on chain, it opens up access like with like a click of a button. You can invest your money into these protocols. That's something with the traditional finance, which obviously takes a lot more time. You have to go through KYC. In DeFi, there's no KYC. Anyone can simply invest their money into DeFi.
So if a
of course, those have
crypto, it's got crypto, and it can use that crypto as collateral. It can leverage it for lending and earning. And is that what we're saying?
Correct.
You wouldn't want to send it back to fiat. You wouldn't want to put it back in the bank because you can use it in the crypto space.
Correct. So yeah, exactly. So once you've been earning in crypto, why would you convert that money into fiat to earn like 0.1% interest at the bank or something? So you would invest that money, and the DeFi rates of return are very attractive. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to add for DeFi. We won't go in detail with DeFi, but also there's something I read recently is DeFi is permissionless, but right now, so there's, for institutions, I've been reading that there's a more permission version of DeFi that has opened up with, so there's a DeFi protocol called Aave. It's quite a famous one. So Aave has launched like a permission version of like their liquidity pools. I won't go into detail, but so companies basically have to get whitelisted before investing their money into those liquidity pools. Usually anyone can just invest, but to have like more KYC, for KYC purposes, that like they came up with that solution. So even if everyone wants this decentralized future, maybe a more permission version for institutions could be more suited in the short term, I would say. So today we're discussing crypto payments. When we say crypto payments, people can be like, do you mean to pay in Bitcoin? Bitcoin, when it came, when the white paper of Bitcoin was published in 2009, it was referred to as the new digital cash. We thought Bitcoin would be this new medium of exchange, but with time, Bitcoin has turned into rather this digital gold and a store of value instead of being a medium of exchange. We don't see companies, I mean, apart from El Salvador, which has made Bitcoin legal tender, where there people are actively making payments in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not seen as being this medium of exchange, and rather we'll talk a little bit about stable coins and what stable coins are, because Bitcoin has some cryptocurrencies in general are very volatile. So if you have to make a payment today in, let's say, 0.1 Bitcoin, and it's, I don't know, 10,000, and tomorrow that same 0.1 is like 15,000, it's not good for payment. So stable coins solve that problem, as its name implies. So stable coins offer stability in their price movement. A stable coin is like pegged to the value. It can be pegged to the value of one Australian dollar, and it mimics that price movement. So it's always $1. So then you don't have to worry about the volatility. To my knowledge, there's no stable coin today that has been pegged to the Australian dollar, but most of them are pegged to the US dollar, with the most popular ones being USDT, so USD Tether, USDC from Circle, BUSDs from Binance. So those are fiat collateralized stable coins. That means for every $1 I give in, like $1 I give, I receive one stable coin. So one stable coin is minted, is like the technical term. Those are fiat backed stable coins. So which means that if for every stable coin in circulation, there should be the equivalent dollar amount which has been backed. So yeah, the equivalent amount in that company's reserve. We also have crypto collateralized stable coins, like the DAI is a popular one. So instead of providing US dollar, in this case, I'm providing Ethereum or some other ERC20 token assets on Ethereum. And now lately we've had UST, which is a different type of stablecoin on the Terra blockchain. It's an algorithmic stablecoin. We won't go in detail, but it works a bit differently than DAI.
Okay, just had a quick question from Nathan here. He's asking about True AUD. I haven't actually heard of it. He said it exists on a few platforms. Oh, I just found it on CoinMarketCap. Oh, maybe not. It's untracked. I'm just putting it in the chat box. He was just wondering if this is a stable coin that could be used in Australia.
Which one?
True AUD. TAUD.
Yeah.
I'll link to it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, thanks, Nathan. That's interesting. Yeah. We'll look into that. Okay, and so there's and this is really interesting. What people are paying with.
Yeah, so this is why I wanted to include this slide, is because I wanted to show what companies are actually using to make their cryptocurrency payments. And as we can see, stable coins are the top ones. You will see there's 24% SAN there. So basically, there's a company called The Sandbox. It's a metaverse company, which is a client of Request. And basically, they are paying, maybe Ludo can confirm, but more than 100 employees, and they make those payments, I believe, in SAN token. So that's why we have quite a high percentage of payment being done in SAN. But other than that, you can see it's stable coins with USDC, USDT, and DAI.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, there's not really any Bitcoin there. Will that possibly change
Correct.
in the future if it stabilizes or becomes recognized as currency in more countries, do you think? Or do you think it'll just be Web3 companies using their native tokens?
Yeah, I don't think Bitcoin can become a medium of exchange, like Umar said. If I can intervene, there is one thing we didn't touch on, is the time of basically the transaction is quite long. You know, every block on Bitcoin blockchain is I think 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Compared to other currency like Ethereum or those stablecoin, which is a matter of seconds.
Unless you're using like the Lightning Network, which we have wallets of Satoshis in our town to pay for coffee and beer. And
yeah, with Lightning Network is getting a bit better. But
only
yeah,
using
so
like the Lightning Network. So yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. But so far it was also a matter of time, yeah, in a way. It's very volatile, and people keep it most of the time as the store of value.
But for now, this is what's happening. It's the commerce is happening with stablecoins. That's cool.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
And Sandbox, to touch on Sandbox, they pay more than 100, I think few hundreds of invoices to contractor. What they have is they receive invoice in fiat, I mean denominated in fiat, and they want to settle those invoices with their own token. So that's what they do through Request. That's why the percentage is quite high.
Yeah. So moving on to now the problems enterprises face with crypto today. As we said, crypto, there's no intermediary, so everyone wants to go bankless. There's no bank accounts to hold your crypto, but instead you hold them in your different wallets. It's great to be able to transfer. I mean, in the case we don't have any intermediary, it's great to be able to transfer those in a few seconds. But what if you've transferred it to the wrong address or on the wrong blockchain network? I mean, in this case, you can say a lot of times maybe you won't even you'll never find your crypto again. There's no customer support that you can call in case it's been wrongly transferred. So you have that responsibility, that onus is now on you to manage your funds correctly. And it takes, like I say, it takes a bit of a learning curve. You won't start making like big payments of crypto, but you'll first get comfortable, and there's a learning curve. It doesn't take, I mean, it depends. Blockchain is a rabbit hole, but to make the payments, like it's quite easy to get started, I would say. So how do you get started? I don't know how many of you have already installed a MetaMask on their Chrome browser or Brave browser or any other browser that MetaMask allows it. So yeah, basically, and we will go through like the demo of Request later, and at the end you'll have to also like try it. So in case you have never used MetaMask, today you'll have the opportunity to do so, and you'll see how easy it is. MetaMask allows you to connect to like mostly all of the blockchain networks out there today. So like Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, like a lot of them. And yeah, you can basically, you just have to paste the address of the receiver, click on send, and in a few seconds, that person has received their payments, and you have proof of that transaction on the blockchain. So you can go to, we call them block explorers, like Etherscan. So you can go on Etherscan, and you can, once you do your payment on MetaMask, you will have like a transaction hash, which you can copy and paste it on that block explorer and see exactly that payment which has been made.
So MetaMask is something that people would typically use to pay each other, but they could use Request instead, which is...
No, so basically we'll go through it, but Request integrates with MetaMask. So we use MetaMask to make the payments.
Yeah.
Request, we would have like
overlay.
Correct. So clients with Request, I'll show you the problem right away. So when I make the problem,
we might want to touch base on different type of wallet, maybe at that point very briefly. The difference between a Coinbase and a Crypto.com and a MetaMask. So I guess most of you heard about Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com. If we compare that to traditional finance, they are like a bank because they hold your fund and they are responsible for it because they have the private key of your wallet. And they basically give you an interface like a digital bank where you can see your balance in crypto assets. A MetaMask is another type of wallet, so it's also a wallet. But when you set up this account, you will be custodian of your own fund. That means you are your own bank in a way. And if you lose, those seed phrase, those passwords, etc., that's where the trouble comes from. So the responsibility is more into the user rather than the platform you're using. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's excellent.
Thank you.
So what I wanted to touch on is, as a business, once you've made the payment on MetaMask, is the transactions are pretty difficult to reconcile. So because this is how you see the transactions right now on the block explorers. So to be able to reconcile and to know, like, even if you've received a payment, like that person has to inform you that, hey, I've transferred you some funds, and maybe I'm providing you with the payment transaction hash, and you can go and verify it. But if you don't go and verify it, and you might not necessarily know like who sent you these funds, and to reconcile it, it's a headache, I would say. Because on the block explorers, like, there's a lot of details which are missing. For example, pays information, you're only seeing like a wallet address of that person. You don't know the details of payment. There's no labeling. And of course, the invoice is missing. So like in this case, you would have to be preparing your invoice in a PDF and go onto MetaMask and reconcile those separately. So tracking like what has been paid and unpaid is quite difficult. Like I've experienced this as a freelancer. I would be billing like my clients in crypto in stable coins, but I would be preparing those in PDF like before I started using Request. And like a few months down the line, it would be hard for me to like keep track. Of course, I can do that separately in a spreadsheet, but it's not being automatically synchronized. So yeah, we say copy and pasting wallet addresses from PDF to Excel is playing with fire, and we should avoid doing that.
Accountants don't play with fire. No, that's good. So now we have a solution that could save our clients a lot of time when we
correct
shop, and save our time too.
Ludovic, do you have anything to add here?
Regarding the stablecoin?
Regarding reconciling payment from the blockchain, how this is a problem for institutions who are like preparing the invoices in PDF and all.
Yeah, I mean, definitely was, I would say a few years ago, it was not an issue because blockchain was very gray area. So people used to make payment, just copy pasting wallet address. And at the end of the year, they don't really know what they did, what transaction was it for. But this industry is getting more regulated month by month. We can see it in different countries. I will try to apply regulation on digital assets in general. So that's why it's definitely needed to have some proper paper trail. I mean, getting more and more a big need to get the paper trail for all those transactions.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I wanted to go through the accounting. So we have most of our audience today have an accounting background. So how do we make the switch from fiat to crypto? What do we have to know about accounting frameworks that exist today for crypto? This is basic. Maybe you guys, if you have been making transfers in crypto, you know this already. But basically, the applicable accounting standard today, like a lot of people would assume that crypto like would have to be accounted under so IAS 7, so for under cash, but for an asset to be classified under cash, that asset has to be, or that cash has to be legal tender in that country. So that's not the case. It does not meet that criteria, except in El Salvador, of course. So technically, it does not. It cannot be recognized as cash. Property, plant, equipment, of course not. It's not a tangible item. Financial instrument, well, the criteria there is that it has to give the holder a contractual right to receive cash or other financial asset. Holding cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, it does not give you that contractual right. So it would not meet the criteria of financial instrument or IFRS 9. The only, the two other standards left in this case is IAS 2 inventory. And so there's two different ways that you can account for them, either under IAS2 or IAS38. IAS2, if you're buying cryptocurrencies to be used in the ordinary course of business, so you're trading basically. So if you're buying with the intent to resell and make a profit out of it, then it would fall under IAS2 inventory. But if you're buying it like for investment purposes, then it would meet the definition of intangible asset, which for some people might sound crazy, because intangible asset, usually you'd have like items like softwares, patents, licenses, and intangible assets don't have like an active market where you have assets which are like regularly traded, as in the case of cryptocurrencies. But today, accounting standards, I always say, had not been crafted with crypto in mind. The accounting bodies today are struggling to come up with like standalone accounting standards for crypto. So as of today, we have to interpret and if we want to account for crypto, use what we already have in place. So as of today, IAS2, IAS38 meets those criteria. Under IAS2, this is a bit technical, but if we,
Sorry, Umar, just with IAS2, I mean, generally we're understanding that using it in a business, if you're a crypto business, or you're using it for rendering of services, getting paid, then it's IAS2 generally is going to apply. Is that?
Correct. So if you're regularly transacting in crypto and buying and selling, it would fall under IAS2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and IAS
just sanity checking the way we're doing it. So we have our sort of wallets for hodling, and we have our wallets for doing crypto business, and keeping that separate, because they will have different accounting treatment at year end.
Correct.
Doesn't matter doing
that's correct.
reporting, we can show what we want, whatever's useful to us, but at the end of the year, to comply with these difficult standards, just for practical purposes, would we be
correct. So
for IAS2 and IAS38?
At inception, you would have to determine how will that crypto be used, because in accounting, of course, we have the consistency principle, so we cannot recognize it under IAS2 today and tomorrow under IAS38. Auditors, I mean, otherwise your auditors might be telling you, like knocking on your door and telling you, like, what are you doing? Yeah. So basically under inventory, this is maybe a little bit more technical, but under inventory, it's accounted under the traditional way, which is low of cost or net realizable value. So any changes, any subsequent changes in price of that crypto, any increase, I've put any there, so you would not recognize the increase in prices, but any decrease in price would be reflected in your P&L under the inventory model. And under the intangible, under IAS38 for intangibles, we have two models basically there. You can either use the cost model or the revaluation model. And here I want to say that it's a bit different for IFRS and US GAAP. So IFRS allows the cost and revaluation model, which is a bit more flexible. So the cost model, you would be able to, for every price, when the price goes up, you would not be recognizing it. But every time the price goes down, you would have to impair your assets. That's traditional way of accounting for intangible under a cost model. And under the revaluation model, so any increase in price would be accounted in the other comprehensive income instead of your P&L, and any decrease will go in your P&L. There's a big caveat here for the revaluation model, is provided there's an active market. So what is an active market? Basically, the definition of active market as per IFRS is a market in which transactions for the asset or liability takes place with the sufficient frequency and volume. And in the case of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, widely traded cryptocurrencies, they do have an active market, but not all cryptocurrency would have an active market. So it depends what kind of token the company is holding in its balance sheet. And the conclusion is like there will be a level of judgment that would have to be applied to determine whether there's an active market for that crypto.
So we need to keep notes and, notes to the accounts explaining the approach we took, and without getting too much
Correct.
into today, these are just the issues we need to have in mind when we're doing the books through the year, just the consistency of record keeping and how we made judgments and allocations and valued.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going through these very quickly today because like time is a constraint, but
slides, so it's okay. We don't need to get in depth. We just wanted to warm everyone's minds up before they got stuck in. So
correct. So if you've decided to adopt that revaluation model and like some of the fair value considerations that you would need, crypto markets are very different to like traditional markets like equities, bonds, commodities. These markets never close. So let's say we're at 31st December and you're preparing your accounts as of 31st December, with markets never closing and operating 24 hours a day, like at what time would you take the price? These are considerations that you would have to have. Like crypto is crypto, you can have a big hourly difference. So it's volatile. At 5 p.m. and at 11 p.m. there can be a big difference in price. So you'd have to, because I have this auditing background as well, and I know what auditors look for, like in financial statements, you would have to be consistent. You'd have to have proper documentation that's where you're using, like maybe you're not getting your prices from different exchanges, but always using like the same price source, because different exchanges can have different prices as well. So these are some of the considerations that I've included there. Also, another one is how many decimal places would you use to round up like your asset, like Bitcoin. It can have like a lot of decimal places. Traditionally, we take 2 like for normal like equities, but in this case, it can go up to 8 decimal places. Those are some of the considerations I wanted to point out. The last thing.
I'm just laughing. Ludo is getting bored by the accountant talk.
It's the last slide. Or yeah.
Not at all.
We understand. There's a few other people here who aren't accountants. This is interesting. I mean, so yeah, stable coins, this is what we're using with Request mainly. And but we've got 2 different types of stable coins here. We've got fiat collateralized, they're the most common ones, and these other sort of decentralized crypto collateralized.
Yeah. When we started, we said, so this is not accounting advice, but this is based on like on the accountant quiz, and due to my work, I speak with like a lot of like people involved in crypto, and we have this discussion around accounting for stable coins and whatnot. Accounting bodies today have not provided any form of guidance, so everything is based on like subjective approach, and not necessarily subjective, but being able to interpret like accounting standards and coming up with like your own conclusion, right? So there's no standard approach today. Stable coins, like I said, we have many different types of stable coins. It can be fiat collateralized or crypto collateralized. In the case if it's like backed by fiat, we say it may be considered to meet the definition of cash, because now we can redeem those stable coins for cash. So in this case, we can use IFRS 9 to account for those stable coins if it's fiat backed. But if it's crypto backed like DAI or UST, or like a lot of other stable coins, then it would not meet this definition, because like I said, I'm not providing US dollar, but I'm providing like Ethereum, right, to back those assets. So it does not meet that definition of cash in IAS 7. So then it would fall out of scope of IFRS 9. Yeah, so.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So there's no standard approach here for accounting stable coins. If you read, there's a guidance that the AICPA had published. I think before it was like open access, but now I think you have to register in order to have access to it. But basically, it provides you like so many differing treatments that you would have to account for stablecoins and so many things to consider before accounting for them. The problem I feel today, like this is clearly an obstacle for people to adopt and adopt crypto. But like I said, I feel it should not be a barrier. If other companies are doing it, and as long as you're communicating what you have on your balance sheet and disclosing that clearly, there should not be any reason why not to pay in stable coins.
Yeah, I just shared that article you mentioned. Okay, so let's go with stable coins. It sounds like it's less headaches until all this is sorted out.
The last thing I wanted to mention with stable coins and why we use stable coins and not cryptocurrency for payments is also it just facilitates currency translation. You don't have like large translation gains or losses in your balance sheet or rather in your P&L. And like today, you would need to have like certain crypto tools to be able to allow those currency conversion done manually. It's pretty resource intensive, I would say. So there are tools out there like tools like Crypto, for example, that integrates with Request as well.
Okay, that's good to know, because that's one we're looking at in our Discord working group. Fantastic, thank you.
So we've mentioned all of this, and I'm looking at the time, so time is going quite fast. So I will let Ludo.
If people need to leave, they can, and we'll record and go 10 minutes over. That's okay.
All right, perfect. So I will pass. I will let Ludo continue now.
Thank you, Umar. That was very enlightening. Good to know those insights from you.
All right, thank you, Umar. So regarding Request.Finance, we'll go through those slides quickly, because after that, if we have time, we'll have a quick demo. But Request basically started solving the problem of invoicing. So it's an invoicing tool originally, started in end of 2020. We support, well, it's a bit more blockchain focused, but we support 10 different blockchains. So you might have heard about Ethereum, but there's a lot of layer 2s, etc. So we support 10 different blockchains and 150 different digital currency at the moment. All right. Then just a quick recap of the numbers of last month. So in 1.5 years, we have $200 million worth of USD paid through Request.Finance. And we onboarded 1,300 businesses last year, and now we are close to 2,000. And the top currency, Umar touched on that earlier, but it's mostly stablecoin, as well as Cent token. It's a specific use case.
I've just shared our affiliate link, if that's okay, from Digital Playhouse. We're a social enterprise. Please use our link. And so,
sure.
Yeah, so if people want to log in and have a look, just on pricing before we jump in.
Yeah.
Great, there's no subscription, is there, for users? You don't have to pay by the month for it.
No, you can create a request account straight away. For the issuer, for invoice issuer, it will always be free. There is a transactional business model on the payer side.
Yeah.
So it's 0.1% of the invoice, cap at $2. So when you send an invoice to someone for $1,000, for example, who get paid in Ethereum, the payer will pay $1,001. $1 will go to Request, $1,000 will go to the issuer.
That's amazing, because, you know, as accountants, we just look at our, our subscription costs getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So, wow, this is Web3, no subscription.
Yeah.
Just pay by using. Love it.
Exactly. So this is a few examples of our, customer base. So the sandbox, we touch on that. Aave, it's a DeFi protocol. I think Umar mentioned it earlier, as well as some big, blockchain company like Phantom, Maker with the issuer of DAI stablecoin, actually, Ocean Protocols, the Graph. We have, more than 1,000. We just name a few, but mostly Web3 company. What do they say about requests? But transparency into payment status, that means they know exactly the payment they made for, which was not possible before. They used to make hundreds of payments on a monthly basis, and it's quite confusing when you do wallet to wallet with no paper trail. They can keep all those paper trail in one place, and it's also a way to save a lot of time. Crypto is great for that. You can pay, using Request, you can pay hundreds of invoices, even if they are in different currency, in few clicks. That means you can receive hundreds of invoices in Australian dollar, but some of them get paid in Ethereum, some of them get paid in DAI USDC. You will be able to pay them all in less than 10 minutes, basically, which I feel through a bank would take a lot more time than that. Yeah, so that's what the invoicing software look like. So we do crypto to crypto, we do fiat to crypto. So we have a first use case where in Europe, so that's working for Euro, you're able to send an invoice in Euro to someone. They make a bank transfer to you to pay this invoice, and you will receive cryptocurrency. So what you will receive is Euro E. So it's a stable coin of Euro. So your payer can be any type of company, like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or whatsoever, who doesn't hold any crypto. But as an issuer, if you want to receive crypto, that's a possibility. So we are working into, toward this product where you can invoice people in fiat, not related to crypto. You can receive crypto, and obviously the reverse is the next step. That means they could pay you in crypto, and you can receive fiat currency. Not developed yet, but part of the roadmap.
Fantastic. So at the moment, I noticed sometimes you can denominate the invoice in fiat, but not always. Sometimes you can only denominate the invoice in crypto. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's another thing. Most of the big currency, you can put Australian dollar and get paid in crypto.
Okay.
For some small currency, you can't. You need to put the label currency as the digital currency, not Australian dollar.
Yeah.
Reason being is those currency are low in volume, in trading volume. So if you send an invoice of 500,000 and the invoice get paid, someone sell it, the price is highly volatile. And we don't want that to happen. So the conversion rate is working only for the biggest currency, basically.
Ludo,
cool.
I think you'll have to share your screen now, right?
Yeah, cool. We will go through. You cannot start screen share. Okay.
So I will stop my screen share.
Sure. Just give me a second. I think I was not. All right. Are you seeing a Request.Finance dashboard?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So I have to move this. All right, excellent. So I just logged in. I will go back to that page. So this is Request.Finance website. You can log in and basically create an account. When it's created, just an email address is sufficient. You will arrive on that dashboard. So we have, first of all, when clients sign up, we always encourage to go into the settings and set up your profile as well as your company detail, your address, logos. The main difference with Web2 accounting tool is inside the payment method in the settings. You can add a bank account and bill someone in fiat currency and receive the payment through bank transfer. So Request in that case will be a means of tracking the payment, but there is no automation there. You can have the Stripe account as well for payment through credit card, but the main purpose of the platform is to add wallet address. So we said we support multiple blockchain. So Ethereum is the most well-known, but we have few of them, including Binance Chain, Fuse, Phantom. So you choose the network basically of your wallet, put your wallet name and your wallet address, which will look like something like this, which is basically a bank account on the blockchain. So when that's set up, you will see your different blockchain wallet address. You can go into the invoicing part and create an invoice. So the demo will go in two parts. This part, I will issue an invoice that I will send to a client, a supplier client, and the client will pay the invoice. So first thing, I create an invoice. So I will invoice myself. Actually, I forgot to mention something.
I love this feature.
The invoice me stuff.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So when you want someone to send you an invoice and you're the payer, you can directly share your link, this link to your supplier. And what will happen will be something like this. When your supplier will issue an invoice, they will copy the link of the client, and something is wrong. Why is it not working? All right. So the invoice will be pre-filled with the information of the issuer as well as the information of the client, which is
like we call it a recipient created tax invoice almost. It's like we help them to it's created. Yeah.
So everything is already fulfilled, the information of the supplier as well as the client. Then what you need to do as an issuer is just choose the label currency. So for the demo, we will do Australian dollar. And how do you want to get paid? You can be paid in fiat and you will put your bank account, or you get paid in crypto. So most likely will be cryptocurrency. We have all those networks we support. So for the demo, I will use Polygon, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. The fees are a bit cheaper. And for the currency, so that's all the currency we support on Polygon, I would choose DAI, which is in a way, it's a stable coin. The last thing to do is to put the wallet address where I want to receive the digital asset. So this is the wallet address I've previously set up. And then I will do, I don't know, service from supplier B, quantity 1, and a unit price of $5 Australian. You can put discount, taxes, etc. This invoice, a memo, and this invoice can be recurring, monthly, weekly, daily basis. So pretty much all of those feature. I can change the payment due date as upon receipt. So like pretty much straightforward, like a normal invoicing tool. When I click on create and send, this invoice will be sent by email to the payer. So voila, it's successful. I can see the invoice is awaiting payment. So now the cool part comes from on the payer side. What is different with crypto? So I will log out of this account and sign in as the payer. So to be noticed on request, if the payer of the invoice doesn't have a request account, they can still pay the invoice as a guest, which means I don't have any request account, but I receive an email with an invoice. I will be taken to that page. All the menu here will be blank with a sign up button, but I can still pay. So that's the beauty of Web3. Your wallet is on your browser, so you don't need to have an account to pay. But basically, I will pay using DAI on Polygon $5 Australian. So the only action I can take here is I can reject or accept the invoice, but most likely I will click on Pay Now, choose a wallet address to pay from. So we support MetaMask, NosiSafe. We support also hardware wallet like Ledger and Trezor, and so wallet connect with multiple different wallets. So for the demo, I use MetaMask, click on MetaMask, and the $5 Australian is automatically converted into DAI. So it will be $5 Australian at this instant is 3.506 DAI. So if we go out and wait a bit, click again, this rate might change. So quite important, this data doesn't come only from one exchange. It's an aggregated price, on-chain data, but aggregated price from different sources. So it's not backed only by one sources, but I think 40 or 50 different sources. So then click on Pay Now. My wallet here, this small fox will open, and my wallet say, okay, the 3.506 is already pre-filled. The wallet address of the issuer is already pre-filled, so I have nothing to do, no copy paste to do, just click confirm. When I click confirm, the payment is in progress. The difference, I would say, between normal transfer using a bank and blockchain is we can read the blockchain layer, like Umar mentioned earlier in the presentation. So if I click on Polygon scan, I can see the transaction hash of this payment, and the payment is successful. There is one block confirmation. So what the request does, Request is reading this information and has changed the status of the invoice to paid automatically. So basically the invoice is reconciled on your dashboard, on the payer side as well as the issuer side.
That's I did it manually with a when I paid someone recently, not using MetaMask. I just did a transfer from my Ledger Live, and it's still showing as declared as paid by buyer, but hasn't been confirmed by.
Yeah, there is two ways exactly. Yeah, there is two ways to do that. So yeah, that's how the payment happen using the platform. Few more options I just touched point on earlier is the batch payment, what we call mass payment. So here I've received a lot of different invoices which are approved I need to pay. I can select the one I want to pay. Click on pay now, and the same process will happen. So on NosiSafe and soon to be on MetaMask, I will use my wallet. I will go to pay now, same process, but I will pay basically 6 or 5 or more invoices in few clicks. That will work exactly the same way. All right. Any question, or shall we go back to the?
Where did you connect your MetaMask? It just automatically connected when you click to pay now.
Yes. Alors un MetaMask. Alors if I can move this.
Just wondering because my MetaMask is linked to my personal crypto, so I need a different browser with a different MetaMask for my business crypto, right? Yes. Oh no, I'll have the different. I'll just have the different wallets in there. Of course. What am I thinking? I've just got to name them all properly. Gets confusing. Yes, you have a few entities.
That's correct. If I go to Ethereum mainnet, for example, which is the most used blockchain network, I can see for me I have a few different wallets.
Yeah, which is all kind of meaningless. So you kind of have to name your.
Yeah, you can rename then. Where is the naming? If I click here, maybe somewhere there. Account detail. Yeah, you can rename them from here.
Yeah.
You can rename them.
Because it could be very easy to accidentally pay from the wrong wallet, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Normally, we always give advice not to mix personal and professional wallet.
Well, we're always telling our clients to anyway, so just preempting any messes at the end of the year. This is the kind of communication we can give to businesses as accountants, like be careful, name them properly.
Yeah.
Don't mix the personal and business.
That's correct. So MetaMask is mostly for the payment. All the wallet I just show is for the payment when someone has to pay an invoice in crypto. As an issuer of invoice, you can input your Coinbase wallet or your Binance wallet.
Yeah.
So you can put both. As an issuer, you can put MetaMask account, NosiSafe, Binance, Coinbase. So far on Request, as a payer, you can only use what we call decentralized Web3 wallet, which is something you own your own private key. You cannot pay an invoice through Coinbase, but that might be something we are looking at, to make payment through centralized exchange.
Okay, interesting.
All right. Should I think we are pretty much done with the demo. There is something I won't go into the detail, but we have a new module called salaries. So the difference with invoice is you don't need to wait for someone to send you an invoice, and you have proper documentation of the salary disbursement. So you can set up a new salary in crypto. You can just put your employee detail. For example, this person called Jean-Michel, he's part of the marketing team. And what I will do, I would say, okay, he has a salary of 5,000, the cryptocurrency I would like to pay with. This is recurring also on a monthly basis. I choose a date, create now. And basically I can choose a pickup date on the 30th or 29th. And on the 29th of each month, the salary will be created. And the person who disburses the fund will need to log in only on the 30th of each month and do 3 clicks, like the same process as the invoice, and disburse the salary in crypto.
Yeah, we have a problem with this in Australia, not with you, but with paying employees. We have fringe benefits tax on non-cash benefits paid to employees. So we tend to use third-party providers to get around that.
Yeah, the salary part doesn't create payslip locally. So far, it's only for the disbursement. So the paper trail you will get is a receipt of payment.
So could the employer using this pay in fiat, and so use you as a third party provider to then pay the employee in crypto? As long as the employer pays in fiat, we are safe from fringe benefits tax. Potentially, this isn't tax advice today, but this is something we'll study in our accountants Discord. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's all for the demo. So I will stop the sharing, and maybe Umar can take over for the next part, the last part.
Fantastic. Oh, that was really good.
Sure.
So what did you want to point out, Umar, that we could have?
In the invoicing demo, you mean?
Yeah.
I think Ludo gave a good overview of what it can be used for. Just one of the things I wanted to mention is with the integration with the Xero. I mean, with the other accounting softwares.
And also the integration with Gnosis Safe is interesting because multi-sig is a big issue with, having different people in the company approving payments.
Oh, okay. If we want to go through Gnosis Safe, I can definitely
Let's do that.
We can look at this first, but let's not forget Gnosis Safe.
Okay, sure. We can go through Gnosis Safe after that.
Okay. I mean, just quickly, I just wanted to mention to all our accountants that as of today, we're not integrated with any accounting software, but the one with Xero is coming soon. Expected end of May, but we will communicate those once released. So at the moment it's manual, and we don't want it to be manual. So the way Request.Finance works is every time we receive, every time there's a demand for a certain product, for a certain blockchain network, for example, we would work on those client demands. So right now, a lot of accounting firms are asking for this integration, and this is why we're working on it.
Yeah, we have seen a very good increase in businesses which are more Web2 business. They are not Web3 first, but they start to make crypto payments. So most of their payments still happen in fiat, but they have a small percentage in crypto. They don't really know how to manage it, and they want to obviously import those transactions into Xero, because that's the tool they're using for accounting. So we are making this integration for basically that audience, that kind of user.
That's good. I have one more question about invoicing too. I mean, we will return to look at this again in our group when you've got the integration and help each other make that work. But I did ask a question on your forum. I noticed when you log in, you can click on a link to make requests better, so you can give feedback. And I asked maybe a silly question to customize the invoice to show VAT or GST. I know I can see you can add the tax amount. But is it possible to customize the invoice in any way to be a bit more compliant in our jurisdiction?
Are we talking about inclusive and exclusive?
Yes, total sales, GST amount,
yes,
and tax invoice.
Yes, we got this demand. So it's in the backlog. That's something we will do. Good point. Very good point.
Ludo, I will let you continue with getting started as well.
Yes, so there is something very cool. I'll just copy that. Yeah, so now how to get started. Basically, but anyone can start pretty much straight away. So you can go on Request.Finance, create your account. There is an email verification to do, so it takes approximately 45 seconds to do that. The fields are very minimal.
And I noticed you can also refer from the system
yes.
and receive $25 worth of REQ token, and your recipient will receive $10 of REQ token. What is REQ token and how do we use that?
REQ token is, so request originally is request network, like Umar touched on that also earlier. It's a protocol for payment requests. So Request.Finance is the first application using request network, but request network aims to be an interoperable system for any apps who wants, let's say tomorrow there is another invoicing app who use request network. competitor with Request.Finance are slightly different, targeting a different type of user, for example, freelancer only. Those invoices will be interoperable and they will both use Request Network Protocol as a technology because it's open source, but they will have two different. So REQ token is the token supporting the protocol. So every time there is a payment request, there is a small amount of REQ token which is burned. So it's deflationary model. And yes, you can get involved in crypto getting your first REQ token by giving your referral link, definitely.
Okay, so it's all learning. Good.
So yeah, what generally people start with, as I shown in the demo, is set up your company detail and your payment method. So it's also actually quite fast. And then specifically for this webinar, I found it very cool to give you the opportunity to send me an invoice of 10 Australian dollar worth of Ethereum. And I will pay that by the end of the week. So what I will do is I will share in the chat my invoice me link.
Okay. And I'll send this to everyone. I'll be doing a follow-up summary so we can.
Okay, so Electra, you can share your affiliate link first. People can sign up through your affiliate link. They will get REC token. Yeah. And I will send you my invoice me link. After the REC token, we pay that every quarter. So don't don't be in a hurry. It will be paid, but we do that every quarter. And then you can send my invoice me link, and everyone who wants to try the tool can set up an invoice of 10 Australian dollar worth of Ethereum, and we pay that by the end of the week.
Okay, that sounds fun. We'll get stuck into it and we'll learn by doing. That's what we do.
Exactly. Exactly. Very cool. Yeah, that's all. So once the invoice is done, just sit back and relax. We'll pay that.
Well, I don't see any questions in the chat box, and the people who did have some technical questions, I think we've kind of covered in this, but I'll continue the conversation and keep the activity going. And this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your preparation and sharing what you knew today. And Marcus has a question. Marcus, would you like to type your question? Okay. So, oh yes, I'll point out here, I've just introduced our accountants group to Discord. So we've got a Discord accountants on chain group now, which I've shared in our group and I'll share again. But we can get help through your Discord. Is that right? If we join your channel?
Yes, of course. Definitely.
Okay.
Discord, yeah, mostly Discord actually.
Okay, Marcus has asked a question. Is there a method to transfer from the wallet to a physical ledger, such as a nano ledger?
Actually, you mean as an issuer of an invoice, you can actually put your wallet address you can directly put as an issuer of invoice when you log into your nano ledger. Let's say you get paid in Ether, you can directly copy paste your wallet address from ledger and put it in the invoice.
That is how I have done it so far. And also, Marcus, if you're using MetaMask, you can use your ledger wallet addresses in MetaMask as well. So yeah, we'll
both ways. If you have a MetaMask with Ledger, you can do that, or you can directly put your basically your Ledger Ethereum address into the invoice, and you will get paid there.
Good question. Thinking of self-custody as a freelancer.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, what's this club?
Oh yeah, so that's a very cool initiative we started. We started actually a month or two ago. It's very recent. So it's a resource hub and community driven Slack channel actually. So you can join through the website to web3cfo.club. Just put your information, LinkedIn, etc., and you will join a community of Web3 CFOs. So they are CFO of Sandbox, etc., who are in this club. Hey. And it's basically sharing knowledge. What we want, it's not only about requests, it's much broader, where the industry is going in terms of regulation, what's the good practice, Web3 companies are doing, and potentially you will meet some clients. So, or even the clients you might have who are in the Web3 space, they might want to join this club.
Excellent. Great work, guys. Thank you for coming today and sharing all of this with us. And yeah, we'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks for the opportunity, Electra. It was great.
Yeah, thank you, Electra. And thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Everything else, thanks for your support. Bye.
Bye-bye.